Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Welcome to Satsang, everyone. Happy to see you all. Today I haven't received any emails from anyone, so I thought I might take a moment with you all to reflect a little bit on freedom. The teachings say that freedom is inherent in our being. Freedom is our natural state. When we are here, now, fully, in this moment, free from concern, thought, decision, opinion, and so on, what we experience is freedom, the freedom of being. Sri Ramana's instruction, remain as you are, is pointing directly at this inherent freedom. So if in this moment you are here as being, consciousness, you are aware fully, you are free. So if this is your experience right now, in this moment, just remain as that, in support of the satsang. But some of you, I know, when you hear, you are already free. There is this small voice that says, not me. I don't feel free. So it's for you that I want to talk about the nature of freedom. The reason this small voice rises and says, but I don't feel free, is really because you think of yourself as a body and or a mind. Because we have a body and a mind, ordinarily, these are the dominant ways in which we perceive ourselves before the recognition of freedom. These are really external indicators that I exist. We accept our experience, we accept our thoughts, opinions, and so on, to be me. So this is an external referencing. So we are always looking around in our experience and in our own minds and identifying with whatever we see there. This is a conditioned habit, so don't be harsh with yourself. When I mention this, you say, yeah, that's what I do. I'm always just being drug around from here to there by my experiences in the body, sensation, touch, smell, taste, so on, in the world, or the experiences in my own mind. I'm always being caught by them. So this is not criticism of yourself when you notice that your mind has caught you again, or when you notice that some habit you have of externalizing has risen again, and you are chasing something in the world, with the body, or in the mind. In fact, it's very nice, very good when we notice that once again we've been caught by some habit pattern, because it's only what we notice that makes it possible for us to realize, in this moment I feel bound, but my goal is freedom. So how can I move from this experience of being bound into the inherent freedom that the sages point to? The remembrance, the recollection, in the middle of experience, that I am free, that this cannot bind me, is the movement back toward the direct perception of being and consciousness, yourself as free energy. Experiencing yourself through the body or using the mind isn't an excuse to remain bound, to remain in conditioning. Whatever you need in this moment, by your desire for liberation and freedom, will be brought to you in your experience of body, mind, and world. Your task, while living in the experience that's rising in this moment, is to remember, I am not this. I am already free. Freedom is my nature. This nature arises as being and consciousness and bliss. This nature, as freedom, is present in the midst of all activity, in the midst of all experiences. Before liberation, the tendency is to become attached or disappointed or reactive towards something that's happening in the experience of body, mind, or world. The reason that we engage in sadhana, or we undertake some tapas, is so that we can let go of whatever is happening in body, mind, and world, allowing it just to be as it is, but without identification with it. We are allowing ourselves to be present as being in all experience, as things come and go, in the body as sensation, hearing, taste, touch, and so on, in the mind as thoughts, thinking, opinions, and so on. We are just allowing everything to be as it is. And in doing so, we allow ourselves to be as we are, aware in this moment, here, now. Free from disturbance. And even if some small disturbance comes, even if there's a noticing of a thought, a noticing of some form of attachment, or engagement, we're just allowing this thought, this experience, to be here as it needs to be, for as long as it needs to be here. But by not attaching to it, by not identifying with it, we allow the experience to go its own way in its own time. And we remain as being, as awareness, as consciousness. And in doing so, we know ourselves to be free of all activity in body, mind, and world. Sri Ramana said, know yourself to be the screen. The movie can play, can be very dramatic. The forest fire can burn. The hurricane can rage on the screen. But the screen is untouched. When the movie ends, the screen is blank. The screen is always there, but mostly unnoticed. This is awareness itself. This is the field of freedom, of the inherent recognition, I am that which is aware. So remain free from opinion, free from decision, free from thinking endlessly about what you think the nature of reality is. Liberate yourself into here now as being, consciousness, and bliss. Then you will come directly into the perception of your inherent freedom. Always free, ever free, unbound by the experiences of body, mind, and world. This is your nature. Rest as that. Hello, my dear.
Rishi, thank you so much for your words. It feels that when you speak, it just gets to the heart of all of us, and you can feel maybe what is really happening also in our experiences, and it's just like it brings so much peace. It's just gratitude, and what you
This
just
peace is always within you.
said. Thank you.
All I'm doing is pointing toward it. This is not my peace, and it's not the peace that I give you. It's the peace which rests in your own being and is just being pointed toward. So I am happy that you can see, even for a moment, this peace which is your nature.
I can see that there is a deepening and there's less identification, but what you just mentioned about whatever we need will be manifested in our experiences, what we need for liberation. I can see that sometimes if there's a wish or desire coming, and then life is just presenting it, but it is more to test. So the mind wants to grab it.
Yes.
I just, I see that sometimes there's not enough space just to take some distance and not to identify with any kind of desire or emotion, but just to understand that whatever we're experiencing is just to always come back, because it becomes very sticky, some experiences or some desires, because then it seems so alive, so real. So then, and then there's a moment needed just to take some space. to
Yes,
describe.
this is that remembrance that I was speaking about. You know, it's not about, one wants to be careful about a mind that wants to look at experience and say, oh, I could have caught that sooner,
Mm.
or, or when that experience arose, I didn't catch it. It's important to understand that often experience, as well as the senses which make it possible for us to know we are having an experience, they arise spontaneously together, and they arise very quickly together.
Mm.
So this is not a reason to be concerned, to be harsh with ourselves, or to somehow think that we've failed. At the moment that we realize, I was caught, I have been caught, whether this is a 1 minute into it, or whether it's 2 days into it, or a week into it, the moment at which we realize, oh, I was caught, now we are free. We're no longer caught, but often the mind will put together 2 or 3 or 4 of these events over the past week or month or year and say, you see, I am not free. I keep getting caught. Look at this. I've been caught this day and this day and this day and this day and this way and this way and this way. So I am not free. This is the story the mind tells. What I would encourage you to do is to rejoice in the recognition, oh, I was caught. This recognition means now I am free. I can see that I was caught. So it's very important to refrain from this mind that through habit wants to say, this is proof that I am not free. Because this, I was caught last week, I was caught this day, I was caught a minute ago. So therefore I am not free. No. A week ago, I realized, oh, I was caught. Today I realized, oh, I was caught. This is the action of freedom that is beginning to manifest in our life. In the recognition, the remembrance, I am not this. I am this freedom. I am the one, that awareness which has recognized this tendency.
It's just the wish to have more vigilance, more discipline to catch it more quickly.
Yes, this is a very good intention, right? Because the mind tends to bring to us the experience which we focus on. So if we say to ourselves repeatedly, I am not free, then the mind, because it does not care, the mind is not judgmental, it doesn't care, this is positive, this is negative. It doesn't make these kinds of judgments. So if we say, I'm not free, I'm not free, I'm not free, mind, as our servant, goes, okay, we will show you that. You are not free. We will just keep bringing that. You are not free. You are not free. You are not free. We will just keep bringing that. Mind doesn't care. But if you keep saying, I am free, I am not this, you keep putting it down. If this becomes your orientation, mind also says, this one is free. Okay, bring this experience of freedom. So this is why it's important not to string together this necklace of pearls that says, I am not free, I am not free, I am not free, and then putting it on and wearing it all the time. I am not free. No, string together the necklace of pearls which says, I am free, I am free, I am free. And put this necklace on. And no matter what else happens, remind yourself, bring to the mind this remembrance. Yes, this is here, but I am free. If you don't do this, what tends to happen is that something arises in the experience, which is unpleasant for you. And then there's this constant dialogue that goes on in the mind. Oh, why did this come? What does this say about me? I must not be free. I must be failing in some way. Why did I need to have this experience? this conversation is really not useful. This is to blame oneself in some way for having taken a body and agreed to having come into this world to have the experiences of body and mind, and then saying, oh, this is proof that there is something wrong. There is a problem. This life is a problem. I am a problem. My thoughts are a problem. My emotions are a problem. My habits are a problem. No, no, no. You are none of that. So begin to string this other set of pearls onto the string to put around your neck, which says, I am free. Even with these things coming. Yes, because even in a pearl necklace, there are gaps in between the pearls. So just make sure the pearls are around, I am free. I am aware. I am here. I am awake. I am being, consciousness and bliss. And then when the blank spaces come, and there is this feeling of, I don't understand, I don't get it, or whatever, you always know that there is another pearl coming at this moment that you say, ah, I am aware, I am awake, I am free. This is not to say to you that you can convince yourself or your mind that you are free. This is not the reason to say I am free. You cannot convince the mind of anything. The mind is part of the spontaneous arising of whatever your experience needs to be as a body-mind complex. So I'm not saying you are just taking do you know this term, Pollyanna kind of experience? We have this in English, but those of you who don't speak English, I'm not sure. The Pollyanna experience is someone who, despite everything, just keeps using the mind to ignore and deny their own experience by saying, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy, even though disaster seems to be unfolding all around. You cannot convince the mind that its experience is other than its experience. But what you can do is say, I recognize I am not that. This experience may be necessary at this moment, but what does that have to do with me? I am being, consciousness and bliss. So therefore, I don't need to push away the experience or argue with the experience. I don't need to sit in judgment of myself or another or an experience. I can simply say, beyond all this, in the space in which all of this arises, I know that I am being, consciousness and bliss. So that the mind, which has this tendency to trap us into a limited way of thinking, is always being challenged. So when you say in your words that you want to be vigilant, this I am agreeing with, but the vigilance is around understanding I am being, consciousness and bliss. It is not vigilance to keep arguing with your experience. Experience is what it is. This experience is related more to the prarabdha karma, if you will, of the body-mind experience. What you need to experience, what you've come into this body-mind situation in order to learn, what you have in some way agreed to already, this is going to come. It's coming as a spontaneous moment-by-moment arising. But just because it is arising does not prove anything about that is who you are. You are being, consciousness and bliss. Everything else is passing.
It's just sometimes judgment arising that if...
this thought, yes, this one.
If I looked more inside, I could already gone through.
Yes,
Why is it coming again?
yes, 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 yes.
Student repeating class again
Yeah,
and again.
this is stringing the necklace of negativity and putting it around your neck. So, if your desire is to remain vigilant, then remain vigilant when this thought arises. This yes but thought. Right? You all know this yes but thought. You think something about yourself as that you are so full of love, you are so full of joy, you are so full of bliss, and then yes but comes in. Yes? So this is the proper place for vigilance, is to understand the nature of this mind. And the reason I say this mind is because I want you to begin to understand that this mind is just the mind that became obvious when awareness awakened in you as a body. This is not my mind. This is just mind. And the reason it's good to talk about these things is because this mind can be seen in every single being that has a mind. But we tend to think, oh, this is my mind, and I'm somehow don't get it, I don't understand it, or I'm damaged or something. You know, this is just the ego playing its game of I want to be the boss here. So I'm not going to believe this whole notion of you are infinite being, consciousness, and bliss. So this small mind is the one that says, yeah, but. So one of the ways you can undermine this is to become more playful with this mind, less willing to accept this judgment. You know, you can think of this mind like a puppy. You know, if a puppy is being bad, you can do one of two things. You can take your hand and try to force it to stop doing what you want it to do, or you can take a cookie out of your pocket, some sweetie, and you can distract it from this behavior, direct it towards something else, and then offer it a treat, right? Puppies are like this. If you do this, you end up with a puppy that's loving and kind and does what you ask it to do. If you use the back of your hand, you end up with a very mean dog at the end. Mind is like this also. So if you harshly judge mind and you harshly treat mind and you have harsh opinions about the nature of your own experience and how your mind deals with that, you will end up with a mind which is very difficult and struggling all of the time. So in a way, it can be just said that all we are doing is distracting the mind with a sweetie when we say, but I am not this. I am being, consciousness, and bliss. in order for us to be in the world as being and consciousness, we have to begin to treat ourselves with kindness, with love, with generosity of being. We cannot show the world love. We cannot show the world kindness, understanding, compassion, if we don't have those things for ourselves. We find ourselves somehow, we don't know how, here, with this body and with this mind, and with the experiences that come along with them. But if we take up a harsh opinion about who you are, who I am, if I treat my mind, the thoughts in it, harshly, if I don't nurture myself with my own love, my own compassion, it's very difficult to show love and compassion for another or for the world. So we begin here. This is why it's said in the teaching and in Scripture that the greatest gift we can give to the world is to awaken. This is better than social work. It's better than political work. These things are necessary in the world, and if we feel moved to do them, then we need to. But if we don't have self-love, compassion, forgiveness, understanding about what the limitations of any body or mind are, then we cannot give compassion, kindness, love, and understanding to the world. So we begin here, and we understand fully and completely that when freedom is understood to be my nature, then the whole world is free, even when it doesn't realize it. Just in the same way that I am saying to you, you are free. Even with this yeah but mind that doesn't realize it, you are already free. Your task is to come to know this, not to make a long list of all your faults and your failures.
Thank you.
Yes, Ji. All right, so are we finished for today? So I do know also, I just want to affirm this, I also do know that I've been hearing from some of you lately that you are experiencing more of this silence and this quiet in your lives. And I am very, very happy to hear these reports also from you. So just continue This freedom, which you are, is there. It's always available to you. And as you more and more come to recognize yourself as being and consciousness, as the screen on which everything is appearing, the more you will be resting as this silence and enjoying this freedom of your own being. So thank you. It's nice to be with you all. Nice to see you all. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshya Mamritawa Swaha Bhuva Bhu Om Sat Jung Hung Om. Namaste.